Want to know how to use Single Rider as part of your planning strategy at Walt Disney World? We got the tips coming up. So to explain what Single Rider actually is then, so basically it's to be used as part of your planning strategy if you like. So there are 4 different rides around the resort that offer Single Rider, and basically it's another way to get through onto the ride a lot quicker. So if it's, for example, one member of your party wishes to ride the ride, or you don't mind splitting up on the ride itself, then it's another way to basically get ahead of the queues. Now obviously bear in mind that you won't be riding together, because what you do is, in a sense, fill up the available spaces. So for example, if you've got a seat that sits 4 and there's a family of 3, they'll obviously slot you in with that family of 3, so you won't ride together. If you obviously want to skip the lines and sit together, then the fast pass is basically the way forward. But you used Single Rider, didn't you?
Yeah, I used it on Expedition Everest. And basically it was like a little line that's before the main attraction. That you went down, and literally I think I got on the ride within 10 minutes maybe of being in the queue. Expedition Everest I think it's got 3 seats in the actual cart, I suppose. And so I filled up the empty space, because I see you didn't actually want to ride it yourself, did you? So
no.
No. It was quite fun actually, doing it with someone else.
Yeah, you were with quite a funny family, weren't you?
Yeah, they managed to
frequent on it.
Actually, I think I'm lying. It was 4 in a car.
Was it?
Yeah, there was 4 in a car, and there was obviously, like Stephen said, a family of 3, and I joined in with them. And there's a pretty funny picture of what they did on the ride. So,
like I said, there are 4 Single Rider rides, if you like, within the resort. So starting off with Hollywood Studios, there's 2 there. So there's Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith, and also Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Which is a new one.
Yes, it is a new one. The thing to bear in mind that if you do Single Riders on Smuggler's Run, you will only be an engineer, so you won't be able to have the opportunity of being a pilot or anything, apparently.
But it skips the queues.
Which is, as I imagine, quite long. So moving on to Epcot, there's only one there, which is Test Track. On that one, you if you do Single Rider, you won't be able to design your own car. So you just basically slot him in someone else's car, I presume, and just hope it's a good one.
I'd imagine everyone's, jumping on that ride and making up good cars.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit pointless to go on there and put up a rubbish car, really, wouldn't it?
And then moving on to Animal Kingdom, there's Expedition Everest.
I've been there, I've done it, and it's a good queue.
Yeah, which is it's a good ride, isn't it, to do a Single Rider on?
Yeah.
I imagine the queues can be quite long on a sort of normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
I mean, I didn't join the main queue, so I haven't got a clue how long it was.
So that's those then. So if you happen to forget whilst in the resort, if you have your own little park map there, they do actually have the S symbol in the square beside the ride. So just to remind you, but there are, like I say, 4. 2 in Hollywood Studios, 1 in Epcot, and 1 in Animal Kingdom. So that'd be none in Magic Kingdom then. So
none in Magic Kingdom.
No.
They like you to just queue in the lines.
So the thing to remember about Single Rider is it's a good way, like we said, to skip ahead of the lines. It can be between 20-25% to 50% off the normal ride, the queuing time. So it is good to sort of remember that as part of your planning strategy. So if you're planning out your fast passes, if you've got children planning on rider switch, bear in mind as well the Single Rider lines, because it can take a decent time off your waiting time. There's no point, for example, wasting a fast pass on it if you could easily deal with a single rider. If you know, if it's just you, then there's no point using a fast pass on it.
I mean, even still, I mean, if you're going to go ahead and use like a rider switch, for instance, you might as well. I mean, that's the same thing, isn't it? Technically.
Yeah, I mean that's
as a
that's
single
mainly geared
rider,
up for
so
parents, isn't it?
yeah. But you know, it's kind of got the same idea that you know, when you've got children that can't go on rides, you will have to switch it out anyway. So you might as well use the, you know, the rider switches and the single rider lines to your advantage, really, so that then you're getting through the queues quicker, but also, you know, you're already got it in your mind that you're not going to be able to ride with your partner anyway, or the, you know, your party. So yeah, just use them.
Well, your partner might be a wuss like me and don't like the big rides. So I think we pretty much had a pretty good mixed bag, didn't we, of strategies with our last visit. So we obviously used the rider switch on Pandora. We also you did the single rider on Expedition Everest, and then we obviously used the fast passes for everything else.
So you might as well, it's good to just use, if you've got the ability to use all of them, use all of them. Yeah. That's what they're there for. That's what they're designed for. So
there were a few that I thought we could have used rider switch when we used the fast pass.
Yeah, but it's a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, and there wasn't that many fast passes available anyway, so
yeah.
That's another thing to consider, obviously.
When you don't stay in a resort, and obviously you can't pick your fast passes till a lot later than a lot of people staying on resort. You know, it's good to use the rider switches and the single riders as well. Use them to your advantage.
I mean, one of the examples if you look at Epcot, they say to use, like if you're wanting to use the single rider, if you could do that, if that's an option for you, then you could use a single rider for Test Track and have your Tier 1 Fast Pass for Frozen Ever After. So it's good as part of your overall planning strategy, I think, to bear in mind. So just run over a few pros and cons of single rider then. So obviously the pro is that, like we said, the wait times are significantly reduced. And it's a good way to get onto the ride faster without having to use a fast pass. The cons are obviously your groups. If you're all planning on travelling on that and planning on all using the single rider feature, then you can actually do that, but obviously you won't be sitting together, that's for definite. They do say on the signs that, you know, parties will be broken up. A lot of the rides as well, you don't actually experience the full queue. So if you're one for like looking at the sights and things as you're queuing up, if that's part of the experience that you enjoy, then obviously you won't be able to experience that. But if it's just about of getting on the ride as quickly as possible and riding as many rides as you can that day, then that'll be for you. Like we said, if you're on like the Millennium Falcon, then you will be an engineer rather than anything else. And Test Track, you can't design your own car. So yeah, that's single rider then. It's quite a simple little thing. Like I said, part of an overall planning strategy, I think. And yeah, good for, you know, solo travellers. You know, spot is ideal, isn't it? But if there's like one of your party that wishes to ride and another that's not like with us, then again that helped out a lot.
If you've got a wuss in your party. Although Expedition Everest isn't that bad. No.
Might try next time.
Get on it next time, yeah.
You never know.
So yeah, we're basically saying it's good to plan your trip, plan where you want to go, plan your rides, use the maps to your advantage. And just use the fast passes, your rider switches and your single riders where you can to get the most out of your experience, get the most out of getting on the rides, getting them done, and you know, and having fun. Yeah. It's all about having fun.
That's what it's all about, yeah. So, do you have any experience using single rider lines? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think there should be more single rider lines around the resort? Again, let us know. So thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe and give it a like. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.